Well, hello, it's the melting snowflake House of Prozorov, or should I say House of Provocation. Greetings, everyone. I like to do these real short briefs as well, a podcast, YouTube, whatever it's going to be. But hey, I was thinking about being in Beechwood, Ohio. You know, a lot of really cool people out there, nice people I've met. You know, Jewish community, Italians, a lot of just really good folks out that way. A lot of good retail outlets too, and just really good workforce, I think. But all that being said, I remember hanging out with my friend from Beechwood and, you know, listening to her tell me how she developed a therapy. It was a unique therapy to, you know, because people are thinking about how can I get through tomorrow and how can I get through the week. And, you know, her therapy was based on, you know, how the hell can I get through the next 5 minutes? That's crazy. I mean, and that's needed. You know, some people are really losing their cookies as COVID is coming to an end, or we don't know if it's coming to an end. Are we going to have a new virus? Is this over with? Is the demasking permanent? Or if you're in California, you've been remasked. I mean, what the hell is this? Is this Kylo Ren revisited? You know, Kylo Ren wears a mask in Star Wars. That's why I brought that up. But it's not supposed to be really all that funny. But anyhow, what I wanted to do is say, you know, what can you do? You know, if you've had a bad life, you've had a tough life, and you got all these bad memories, and your memories are really horrible, and you really didn't get the counseling you need. You had all these issues. You came home from school. You know, your mom and dad didn't sit you down and have a nice conversation with you and give you some insight and better ways to handle any issues you had throughout the day, which is a good thing to do for your children, by the way. If you're new parents, you really want to sit down with your kids and find out what happened at school and be sort of like a good friend to them. You know, what happened today? Were you treated well? Did people treat you good? Did you treat people good? And if something happened, you know, make them feel free, not embarrassed. Make them feel free to bring up a bad issue or something that went bad. And of course, we got to be careful of our children manipulating us. And parents are just as guilty of manipulating their children. But the problem is lack of communication. But I thought about, what do you do if you're 53 years old, you're 28 years old, you're 39 years old, and you just didn't have a very good childhood? And what can you do to make that better? Well, you know, replace the memories. You know, envision yourself as a young man, as a young woman, sitting down at that beautiful kitchen island countertop. You live in a nice, well-to-do, middle-class family in a nice neighborhood, and sitting down with your imaginary set of parents as a young man or a young woman or a young girl or a young boy, and telling your mom and dad what happened and seeing how they reacted. You know, envision them giving you a couple of cookies and a glass of milk and some good advice and telling you it's not your fault. I mean, sometimes we gotta use our imagination to survive, because a lot of people wanted us shortchanged. They wanted us to lack. They wanted us not to have money. They wanted us to have bad experiences. They want us to quit. They can't talk that evil because society doesn't accept that. And that's a good thing in a way, but it also covers up a lot of really creepy people. And of course, you got people that just lash out sometimes, and they don't really mean any harm, and they end up getting in trouble. While the people who are really ruthless and controlled and nasty, they never say anything wrong, but they just hate human existence for everybody but themselves. And you know, it's a world of variety and diversity. So let me not even peg these alleged wrongdoers as such, because there's so many different types of people. So many good people out there as well really do care. And but you know, we only have so much time on this planet. We have our own problems to deal with. I actually advocate for people to get counseling and not destroy their family relationships or their love relationships or their marriage or their dating relationships by telling your significant other, your partner, or even some of your family members all your problems. At a certain point, your family can help you some, but in some cases your family may not be in a good position to give you a lot of advice. They may be under a lot of stress. If your parents are really poor, they may not be able to handle all your problems that you tell them, on top of all the problems they have that they can't handle. So we have to be careful and seek professional help. And professional help and advice is available now. So, you know, use your imagination though. Back to what I started out with. Envision you're this young child and you have this loving family. If you've never had a grandparent, like I have never had a grandparent, they all died. They were gone by the time I was born. They died off. If you never met your father, I'll go into that one of these days when I start talking a little more about my life. And I would advise you to do the same. Talk a little bit about your life, you know, because let's not cover it up, you know. Let's leave a legacy for other people to hear from. And this is the melting snowflake, the House of Prozoroff, or more importantly, the House of Provocation, giving you some insight. You know, use your imagination, envision that you have counselors, visualize that people care about you, and go against the naysayers who say your imagination should be used against you. I'm here to say your imagination should be used for your benefit, for your well-being, for your emotional and psychological well-being, as well as your inventive and technology capacity. You know, create your own inner world and watch the outer world get more beautiful as you create something more beautiful inside of you, and these feelings that you can share with your significant others in your life, be it your wife, your family, your children. So if you don't have that yet, well, keep praying, keep working on yourself. You know, God has a plan that goes way beyond our mundane existence, but we shouldn't say mundane. We should treasure every moment we have and try to make it better so it becomes something spectacular. Melting Snowflake signing off. Have a good weekend.